There's still a lot of opportunities for these Sooners to make waves this season, and it's certainly not time to pull the plug just yet on the future at OU under Brent Venables. Let's talk about it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Latoya, good to see you. Brandon Snake, BNG, Spaceman, Jams, Crucifix, Autumn True, Okie, My Gun, Sweetness, T-Boomer, Kobe, what's up, man? Rob077, welcome into the show, everybody. Glad to see everybody in here. Hope everything is going good. What up, what up? What's up, K. Cruz? What up, dog? How's everything? Brother from another. Appreciate it. What was the title? Ooh, is it this bad in here? Is it getting real grainy and crappy and stuff in here? Yikes. I hope it looks better on your end than it looks on my end here. We'll talk. Let's see. I may need to switch over to something else. It's slow. Filled out the poll this week? What up? Good. Yeah, man. It's been kind of hit and miss with a lot of the voters. So we're going to have to do a better job of everybody getting that. Yep. Looking clear on your end? Where's K. Chris posting from? Facebook? No, that would be Izzy. Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, man, we just lots of stuff going on this week. Obviously, big week this week for the Oklahoma Sooners, taking on the Tennessee Volunteers, another team that they weren't able to take care of business with last year. But with, and it was one of those games where you kind of left that one feeling like you had multiple opportunities to take control of the game, win the game. You end up losing by 10. Valiant effort by Michael Hawkins Jr. coming in to replace Jackson Arnold. That was for the first time. We saw a tough opening half for Jackson. 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 1 interception. Tough deal. But this is where you saw, and the reason why a lot of us guys believe in what Michael Hawkins Jr.'s future is, not just at Oklahoma, but in college football, period. The reason why, because he just has so many abilities to do so many different things, running the ball, throwing the ball. You saw a lot of layered passes in that game, things like that. Obviously, this year it's a lot different story. No Nico Iamaleava there on the Tennessee side. They're not quite as deep on that defensive line. In fact, their defense, scoring defense-wise, they rank below where even Ole Miss did a week ago. Obviously, you haven't been as dynamic offensively this year in SEC play, now 2-2. But look, everything is still out in front of Oklahoma. They have opportunities to go and get this done. I think where I want to talk about it, and this is kind of what, just kind of going through everything, and this is, a lot of this is content creators especially, you know what I mean? You're in the attempt for clicks and views and everything else like that, you see a lot of guys that are, it's always going to be all doom and gloom or all everything. You're either national champions or you suck kind of deal. And I think that that's a dangerous place to live for Oklahoma or for any program for that matter. And I certainly think that it goes on at Texas. It goes on pretty much all over the country, but Texas is another one. They're living in the same place right now. Both of these programs are essentially playing for their college football playoff lives from each week for the next 4 games for Oklahoma. You've got this week at Neyland Stadium in Tennessee. 2 weeks from now, you'll be looking at on the road at Tuscaloosa. Obviously, 2 huge games, both of them on the road, right? Hey, man, let me I need to turn my focus on here. Sorry about that. But let's talk about this morning, too. Yeah. What about this morning? We saw a tough 18-year-old kid thrown into a shit show called the SEC and RO line. Yeah, and there was a lot of situations, look, overall, I think that what you saw last year, it was last year. There was a number of things that weren't good, right? Number of things that weren't good on the offensive side of the ball. The defense was kind of coming into its own. They certainly played well enough to win a lot of those games in the SEC that you saw them lose, Tennessee being one of them. I don't think you were ever really in the South Carolina game, obviously, because of the early turnovers. That was, I would say, as much a part of the scheme as anything else. That's the week that Seth Luttrell got fired. I kind of found it kind of funny what BV had to say about, obviously Seth Luttrell came up in the conversation because he's now at Tennessee as an offensive assistant there. Kind of is what it is, but Benji, down to earth fan base. That's funny. Because not in this dimension. Yes, my gun sweetness. Welcome in, David Moyer. Isaiah. Yes, sir. Good to see you guys, my gun. Appreciate it. Yeah, but it was just one of those weeks, Last year, this was one of those weeks that, it was damn frustrating for Oklahoma fans last year throughout the season. I mean, talk about the Mizzou game. You were in that one. You had the lead with 2 minutes left, and you not only do you not hold on to a touchdown lead, but you lose in regulation after, when you're ahead with 2 minutes left. Had the lead against Ole Miss at halftime, couldn't hold it. You had the win against Alabama, and that's what you would have liked to have seen more weeks than not. But honestly, the week after that, you turn around and kind of lay an egg on the road at LSU. So it was just a lot of frustrating moments, and you had moments against LSU where it looked like you were going to take over that game as well. The defense looking really good. They hurt Nussmeier. Nussmeier goes back into the locker room. They put a Superman logo on his chest. He comes back out and destroys us. From there on, it was kind of a microcosm of the entire season. This year, I think that people, and some of us included, and I'll even add myself into this. Some of this kind of stuff, we talk about this stuff as if it's the end all be all, that if you don't win it all this year, you got to get an X amount of wins. I'd have to say we're going to have to kind of take a step back and realize that some of this, the truth be told, there's significant improvements have been made this year. If you were to do something as crazy as pulling the plug, number one, pulling the plug on Brent Venables, I'm not sure that it's even on the table at this point, nor should it be. Right? I guess there's always an opportunity, a chance, depending on how you play over the next 4 weeks, that it could happen. I would tell you it'd be crazy to do it, right? I just don't think it's the right thing to do. And the reason being is that, this defense is clearly one of the top defenses in the country. Number 5 overall scoring defense in the nation. Number 1 in the SEC. Yeah, I mean, almost every category on defense in the country, Oklahoma's defense continues to be number 1. Right? I would just tell you that these things that tells you a lot. Now, the offense, yeah, there's some things that need to be shored up. I think we've talked about it ad nauseum here. I want to see John Mateer play better. I think John Mateer is himself saying, I have to play better in order for this team to win. It's clear to me that there's been some conversation going on there. Venables talked about in his press conference yesterday that that he has to play better. I think the question was about what does he do as a head coach, sitting and talking with them, and how to get better. And he was talking about just telling him it has to be better, trying to encourage him and things like that, and tell him he's got his back. I think that these things are all well and good, but if these conversations are being had, I don't know that it's not being said, hey, at some point you're going to have to you're going to have to go ahead and step up and do your thing, right? So maybe there is a succession plan if we don't see what we need to see, which is getting through your progressions, being able to make it past the first 1 or 2 progressions and find the open guy, which has been schemed open. Or maybe Ben Arbuckle needs to do a job of recognizing what's getting open and make that the first progression instead of the second or third down the road. I mean, there's lots of stuff that can be adjusted to and stuff like that. It kind of is what it is. It is what it is. Sooner Cowboys. Oh, my lordy. Not doing it. Okay, Chris says, be aggressive and pressured instead of letting Trinidad run on third down. Same thing with Tennessee. You need to pressure him. Make Aguilar make quick decisions and work the intermediary. Simple as that. Yeah, defensively, I feel like they're going to put together a game plan that's good enough. I'd like to see them, get some more turnovers. And I think you got a chance to turn this guy over a little bit too. We saw in the Georgia game, even if it turned with it turning into a shootout, he made some critical mistakes. Had a turnover. I think he's a good player. I think that he's more dangerous at this moment right now than Nico was at this time last year, or for this game last year, I should say. But I do think they were getting better. You know what I mean? I think they were getting better, and they were certainly a lot better running the ball. But they still run the ball pretty well. They still run the ball pretty well. Defensively, you should have an opportunity you need to establish the run, I think, here, no matter what. But I also think that you have an opportunity, if you're Oklahoma, to beat these guys through the air, because their secondary it's kind of buns, man. It really is. Their best 2 players in the secondary are out for the year. So it kind of is what it is when it comes to that. Not a huge fan of Arbuckle's offense. Listen, here's what I'll have to say about that, Brandon. I don't mind the offense. I don't think it's the offense. And I know a lot of people right now, everybody's looking for every possible explanation. What's the culprit for this season not being what it is? And mind you, again, Oklahoma still has everything that it wants in front of it. Right? Could you still get to the SEC championship game? Theoretically, yeah. There'd be a lot of tiebreakers that would probably come into play, things like that, because right now there's a bunch of 1 and 2 loss teams at the top of the SEC. There is. But that means if you stay at 2 losses, you're gonna get in. You're gonna get in. If you get to 3 losses, I think it's harder now. I'm not sure that I believe that you're going to get in at this point. It would kind of depend, I believe. It's going to kind of depend on who's that third loss to, right? Obviously, you would think that you would need to win this game. Maybe or even if, let's say you lose this one, but you beat Alabama. Alabama's a top 5 team. Tennessee's still right up there as well. Let me look back at this at the top 25. Tennessee's in the top 10 for sure, right? No, they're number 14. Okay. According to the AP, they're number 14. But yeah, let me get through some of this here. But you're talking about Arbuckle's offense. I don't know that it's as much about the offense as it is about, as much as we want to, again, we're looking for reasons for why is it not exactly what we want it to be, to where we're the number 1 team in the country. Okay. Because again, you're still right there. You're number 18 in the country. You have an opportunity still to get to the playoff. You do have to, but I think that what K. Chris is saying, offensively, just take the plays that are there. Absolutely. Because here's the deal. Some of these plays are there. And this is why I've been critical of Mateer above all, because there's been opportunities to hit wide open players that it just hadn't happened. I don't think it's necessarily just about the thumb. I think it's about everything. I think that the thumb may, him not being quite sure where to go to, or maybe he sped up a little bit. I think it's telling that he continues to say it has nothing to do with his thumb, that he needs to play better. I agree. You need to play better, John. You got to play better. If you don't play better, they need to put somebody in that is going to play better, because you can't afford another loss. And I think whatever happens, though, I think we have this constant need or want to, within this fan base, to move ahead to the end of the season when we still got 4 games left. A lot of shit can happen in 4 games, 5 weeks, 4 games, right? A lot of shit can happen, not just to Oklahoma, throughout the SEC. There's a lot of things that can go on. So, right now you're looking at there's a total of 2 losses between, the teams that have beaten Oklahoma in the SEC have a total of 2 losses. That's it, between the 2 of them. So they're still right there. 2 losses in league play is what I'm saying. All right. There you go. OU has 2 losses. So it is what it is. Let's see. Ceiling is 9-3, and the fan base will be content. 8-4 is the floor, which won't be great, but enough for BV to keep his job. See, again, this is what I'm talking about. Our need to kind of move ahead. And I'm not saying, and this isn't really taking a shot at you or anything, Duke. It's saying we're looking at this as we got to look ahead to what is it going to be? What is it going to be? We want to prognosticate on who's going to be where. What's the record going to be? 8-4 is on the table. 9-3 is on the table. 10-2 is still on the table, guys. It is still on the table. What's the likelihood of you winning out? I think right now, the way that they've been playing for the last month, I don't think that you feel like it's that great, right? But you have seen things turn on their head in the last month of the season for other programs in the past, for OU in the past. Sometimes you can get on a heater, man. It happens. You can get on a heater. And look, if you can find a way to win this weekend in Neyland Stadium, which isn't going to be easy, let's say you find a way to do that. Do you think that this Oklahoma team looks at Alabama as unbeatable? Because I don't. And I know that they don't look at Alabama as unbeatable, because they beat their ass last year. A lot of these guys were there when they beat their ass last year. Yes, it was at home, but what we heard a lot of, and we heard some of it at the first part of the year when Alabama lost to Florida State, was that the way that they are, that, I don't want to use the soft word, but that's a lot of the feeling that a lot of the Oklahoma players came out of that game with, thinking they're not near as physical as we are. So I believe that they think that they can play with anybody. They believe that. Now, winning it is what it is. I'm not saying they're going to go win. In fact, I wouldn't even pick Oklahoma to go and win in Tuscaloosa. I'm not sure that I want to pick them to win in Neyland Stadium. I don't know that you really can. I want to see them play better on the road against good teams. But maybe this is what you need: a hostile environment, keep you focused. Look at the way they played against South Carolina. You know what I mean? Maybe that is what it is. Again, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of steps between where you are right now and where you ultimately hope to be, not just this year, but in the future. If we are already ready to pull the plug on this deal I don't think that Brent's going anywhere. I don't think that he's going anywhere. I think that that could change too. A lot of things could happen in the last 4 weeks. If they completely fall apart for the last 4 weeks, okay, sure, I could see that. One more win, maybe you get 2 more. I think you get 2 more wins out of this 4 at minimum, probably, which means he's staying. For sure, staying, because that was the mandate coming into the season. Should he stay at 8-4? Should he stay at 9-3? Should he stay at 7 wins? I don't think it. I think if he gets 1 more win, he's safe. Period. End of story. I think he's safe. I don't think he's going anywhere. Yeah. S40. Yeah. Yeah. I've been saying this a lot. Yeah, Showtime 409. I mean, I think, again, we have this incessant need to prognosticate, right? Incessant need to prognosticate. 10-2 definitely on the table. If that were to happen, it would be a huge accomplishment. Sure. I think that 9-3 is a pretty damn good accomplishment too. And with this schedule, I think that that's the other thing. You got to take all these things into context. You got to take all these things into context because of the fact that, listen, this is a brutal second half of this schedule. Brutal. Week after week, game after game. And they don't have to be all top 10 teams for it to be brutal. It's brutal on the road against these teams. Tennessee, I mean, they did everything but beat Georgia. Everything but. They were right there in the game with Alabama for a good part of the game. Bama kind of ran away with it at a point because it was in Tuscaloosa, and right now they got the best quarterback in the country. He's playing better than anybody, or definitely better than anybody in the SEC right now. Trinidad Chambliss also being one of those guys that's playing fantastic. I think that would be a fun matchup if you saw them this year, which you could in the conference championship game. It's easy. You know what? I love Texas fans talking about like they know what happened in that game. You weren't watching the game. They beat Milroe because they took the passing game and made it the one-dimensional side. And no, he wasn't a great passer. You still are going to have to run the football on OU to know that you're going to be able to beat them. They weren't trying to run on them. And I don't know that you can run on them now. And one thing I know about Ty Simpson is he hasn't had the kind. I mean, I don't think that their offensive line is. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not great. And the one equalizer that you got to know that Oklahoma has, is that D line. They're going to get pressure on everybody. How do you handle that pressure? Ty Simpson has been the best in the country so far, the best in the SEC at handling it. Last week we saw Trinidad Chambliss handle it pretty well. He handled it pretty well. They weren't able to corral him, you know. Ty Simpson can't move around the way that Trinidad did. You're going to have some opportunities. But again, I don't want to get too far ahead of this. What I'm talking about is whatever happens in these next four games, I think that you're going to have to live with it and realize that you are still moving in the right direction. Now, if you only win 7 or if you win 8, does that mean that BV's in a certain position headed into next year? Yeah, probably so. Probably so. The schedule isn't as brutal next year, but it still is brutal. But also the other thing is you've got the other part of it is too right now it's a saturated A lot of teams are already firing coaches. LSU firing, Brian Kelly this week. Florida a couple of weeks ago. These are two major jobs within the conference. You've already got Arkansas has got their coach out as well. Expecting possibly Kentucky. According to everybody that I'm hearing about, Diana Rossini believes that, she doesn't care what Sark had to say the other day. He didn't say he was definitely coming back to Texas. He didn't say that. She's right. Maybe there's an opening there. Who's to say? There's going to be a lot of flux is the thing. So where are you at in the pecking order if you were to fire your coach this year? I don't know. I think you're right up there near the top, right? You're right up there near the top. Are you going to get them? Are you going to get whoever it is that you want to get in front of Florida or LSU? LSU is basically considered a top 3 job in the country, right? Is Oklahoma a top 3 job in the country? It's right up there, I would say, too. That doesn't, but depends on who you're asking, right? I think there's a lot of people that think that Florida's a better opportunity for Lane Kiffin than LSU is. Everybody's assuming that Lane is leaving to one of those two. I don't know that I even make that assumption. But that being said, there's going to be a lot of people moving around. Is Drink leaving? He's right up there near the top for Florida. If they don't get Lane, I think that he's their next choice from the way it sounds coming out of Florida. Yeah. LaToya, I'm not talking smack about Bama. And I agree, you better bring your A game. You're gonna have to. And that's every week in this league, is it not? Is it not? It's every week. Benji, shut up, dude. You didn't get Bama's A game for fucking sure. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Auburn could be any day. Absolutely, fence post. Good call. A lot of openings. I would think that Oklahoma's would probably get the pick. I think it's a better situation at OU than it is at Bama or at Auburn. At Auburn, sorry, not at Bama. Oh, that's true. I'm telling you one thing when it comes to Alabama, Benji, shut up. You haven't played Alabama in fucking 3 years. It's not the same football team. Number one, but they've lost one game. They've lost one game first part of the year. They've been the best team in the SEC since then. They've beaten the rest of them. They haven't lost an SEC team. So, fuck the brand. Shut up. Why? What do you mean? Yeah, I think it's easy to say that. And he's probably making everybody believe that too, Lemon. I think both of those the jobs that he's been rumored for, Florida's a better job. There's no two ways around it. It's a better job. That you've got more resources. Just being in the state of Florida is a huge resource for you. Guys that he has to fight for at Mizzou, he will not have to fight for to get at Florida. Drink could be kind of dangerous at Florida. He could be. You know what I mean? He could. I don't really see it either. I don't know. You know what? The NFL is a different animal, man. The NFL is a different animal. And people remember Sark for, they made it to, didn't they? He was the coordinator when they made it to the Super Bowl that year, wasn't he? He was, yeah. He's highly thought of in those circles. Highly thought of. I would tell you that there's worse coaches that are head coaches in the NFL than Sark. Not that I think a ton of Sark as a head coach. There's worse head coaches than him, though, that are head coaches in the NFL. I don't know that Lane leaves Ole Miss necessarily either. I think you could be right there. I've been saying this a lot, LaToya. I don't know that. I think it's a good situation for him at Ole Miss. I don't know that you can. I don't know that I would take LSU if I'm him over either of the other situations, including Ole Miss. They are crazy there. But what I was saying on Brinsky's show the other night, I think that Louisiana is underrated when it comes to talent in the state that you can lock up completely, and he's good enough to where it's a national brand as far as recruiting is concerned. He's going to get the guys that he needs coming out of the swamp, man. He is, and I think he understands that too, much better than Brian Kelly did. I've heard. I mean, you even hear guys like Matt Moscona and those dudes talking about him recruiting 3-star corners out of like Vegas and places like that when there's 10 guys that are better than that right outside of the stadium. You throw a rock and hit one. And it's just one of those deals. To me, I feel like that's one of those. It's a great situation for Lane. I think that Florida is a great situation for him, though, too. I think it is. Do I think Ole Miss is a great situation? Yeah, he's done really well. But think about it, with the limitations that they have at Ole Miss, which there are limitations, if nothing else, just where you are. It's not necessarily the biggest destination. Now, I understand Baton Rouge is Baton Rouge, but to people in Louisiana, it matters. The boot that's the spot, and a lot of them will stay there. He'll put a fence around Louisiana, and then he'll be able to go get the guys he needs to get at LSU. I have a hard time believing he doesn't take it. Are the YouTube ads going crazy this morning? What's up with that? Hey man, you gotta buy the premium so you don't have to deal with the ads. It's worth it to me, believe me. I didn't change anything, so sure they are, but they're more willing to leave the state. But I don't think that they're as highly rated as they probably should be. You can get a bunch of the guys that fill your team out from the state. They won't leave. I'm talking about your 3-star guys. Those are the lifeblood of your football team anyway. But there's plenty of talent there. And with the money that they have, there's plenty of dudes that they can get from everywhere else too. Yeah. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's made. I'm not a huge drink guy, but I think I get what you're saying for sure, and I think that he's done a good job. I think again, though, when you look at what they were prior to him, yes, he's done a good job. The one thing I'll say about it is, again, if you think he's done a good job there, imagine what he would do with more resources, because you definitely got more resources at both of those other positions. I don't know that he's an LSU guy. Florida, you're going to have more resources. The recruiting crops, just being in Florida, you're going to be able to get guys that you wouldn't come close to getting them at Mizzou. Would not. Yeah, I don't know that really matters. I know. He's played well. He's happy. There's a lot of schools down in Florida too. And he's just like a freshman, sophomore. There's time. I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. I think in the end, it's going to be hard for him to stay. It's going to be hard for him to stay. Uh-huh. Well, he got a big raise already. They're trying to make sure that he goes nowhere. 11.7 million. He signed it. The buyout is huge, huge, huge. I don't think he's going anywhere. Signetti's off the table as far as I'm concerned. Stranger things have happened, but it would be crazy if they because he already signed it. This would be a huge buyout. And if you do that, you're kind of hamstringing your next team. You already signed this knowing that your next team would have to, he knows what the buyout is. That's a lot of money that they could be putting towards players. Yeah. I know a couple of those kind of dudes too. I got a buddy of mine in NOLA that close to the school, I'll just say that. He says that they find the money when they need it. And they do. There's been times that, I think that the Bryce Underwood thing, don't forget, he got fit. I think, what was it, 15 million? They were at like 11. Let's not act like that was chump change. Michigan has more money than a lot of people. Old money, new money, and old money. It's different, right? We're talking about losing one player to one of the bluest of blue bloods, right? It's Michigan. It's different. How much was Gundy's buyout? 15 million. Garrett Riley to Florida. I hadn't heard that. I've heard them talking about Lincoln Riley to Florida. They don't want. I don't hear what they don't want. I think they're looking for everything that I'm hearing. They're looking for an experienced head coach, and not even G5 experienced head coach. I think if they're going for a coordinator, it'd be somebody like Will Stein. If they were to go after a coordinator, I think it'd be Will Stein. Sounds like that was who it would be. This coming from like Shelton and them, Alley Peak. Alley Peak is tight with the, I think, what's that other guy's name that they always have? Dan, Gator Dan or whatever. He's tight with and he's in the insider kind of guy that they talk to a lot. Alley Peak's brother played for Urban. She played at the school. She was a volleyball player at the school, so she knows quite a bit. They're talking that what they want, their splash hire thing is kind of weird, but their thing is they want somebody who, I think Drink is right up their alley. Is somebody that they really like him. They really like him. They like what he's done in the SEC at a place, and they look at that and say, okay, if he can do that at Mizzou, what can he do in Gainesville? So even if Lane doesn't end up being the first choice, obviously they're saying the same thing about Lane. Even if Lane doesn't come to Florida, which I don't think he is. I think if you're Lane and you're going to leave, you got to go to LSU. But so yeah, I don't really think Garrett Riley. I mean, could it happen? Sure, I guess it could. Probably not though. Probably not. Maybe the coordinator. Maybe a coordinator position. If I'm Garrett, I'm out. I mean, I've had enough of Dabo's shit by now, for sure. If I'm Garrett Riley, Signetti also knows his donor class is vastly underrated group. Yes, and will pretty much do what it takes with this program. When it comes to Indiana's a different animal, right? It's a basketball school, right? But it's a basketball state. But here's what you got to remember with that. You have to be pretty good at football to make the money that you need to make for your basketball program too. Right? So this investment is huge. And if you're a Big Ten team, you're getting $100 million a year, man. At minimum, I mean, we're talking $100 million a year by the end of this contract per school. And it's going to go up. So the investment should be there. And here's the other thing. Fox has made it pretty clear and I mean all the networks, but Fox especially, made it really clear to the Big Ten teams, to all the schools that, listen, we're not going to continue giving you this kind of money if you're not going to invest in facilities and coaches and NIL and all that other stuff. You need to put it in to your players, upgrading your staffs, things like that. Got to do it. Oh, dude, you're talking old money, Craig. Real deep pockets, blue bloods. Big money. Big money. Yeah. Well, and they're one donor that they have, I forget his name, one of the richest guys in the world. And they can get who they want. Yeah, pack of double mint gum. That would be hilarious. So, yeah, that's been shut down here. According to Allie, she's talked to him a little bit, and he's not even in. He doesn't want to coach at all. Drink not a fit in Florida. They think he is. They think he is. I don't know. I think that if you could coach, I think he's just smart ass enough to be a Florida Gator coach. Myself, Craig. Think about it. He talks shit. He talks shit at Mizzou. Imagine how much shit he will talk as Gators head coach. Imagine. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does a good job. That is what I think he does the best at, fence post. That's what he does the best at. I think if they're wanting somebody that's, I mean, they've always, I think, wanted somebody that's similar to Steve Spurrier. Brash, cocky, good, hires really good coaches. That you have that in Eli. I don't see that. Lincoln Riley to Ole Miss, huh? I think that Ole Miss playing Oklahoma every year means that Lincoln ain't going. There ain't no way. He would be out on that job immediately. Kyle Shanahan watch. Look, yeah, I mean, Texas would be crazy not to go after him if they could. Crazy. Everybody would be crazy not to go after Kyle. Benji, let me ask you this, you Texas guys in here. Would Texas fire Sark today for Kyle tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Nah. Would they take him back as a DC? Fuck yeah, they would. Absolutely. And I think Joe Brady is one of their top choices also. And I'm sure he would take him. Baylor, yeah, he's not good as a head coach. I don't know about that. I don't know would Texas take Lincoln Riley? They probably would. They probably would. No? You don't think so? I think you're full of shit. I think the school absolutely would. I think they'd fire Sark's ass yesterday to get Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. Well, I think in game I think that he's built. I got to give Sark credit. He's built a good culture there. He's built because, and I was talking to Really Flawed about this the other day. When you listen to those guys at Texas talking about the struggles they went through and stuff, but they got each other's backs, man. I heard Colin Simmons talking about when they were trying to say that the defense leads the way and all this kind of stuff. They were asking him a question talking about them leading the way, the defensive side, and he was like, and the offense and the special teams. This is a team. And then the guy was like, yeah, but even Sark said that it's led by defense. He goes, and the offense and the special teams. He was like, fuck you. It's all of us. We're together. Right? That's good. That is culture right there. That is culture right there. Not being where your fan base, delusional as it may be, feels like you should be, doesn't mean shit. What could it be with all the talent in that room? And make no mistake, Texas has recruited its ass off. Period. End of story. What they aren't this year, it makes them very, very scary with Sark next year, the year after that, if you hold it together. Can we fire Venables for Kyle? Absolutely tomorrow. Absolutely tomorrow. I think it'd be tough. He'd be a tough get there, Stevie G. But I think, listen, all love to Coach V. I'd take Kyle in a heartbeat. Good question. Good question. The only thing about Kyle is he hasn't won the big game. He's been to it, and multiple times, but he hasn't won it. Yeah. But again, talking about where Texas is, I think it would be just so Texas to get rid of Sark right now, just Texas. And we're talking about they had a bunch, and every reason that we were all saying 7-4 or 7-5, 8-4 this year, right? 9-3 maybe, whatever. Every reason we said it was because of how inexperienced they are. It doesn't mean that they're not stupid talented. And now that young inexperience is becoming experienced right in front of us. What are they going to be next year? It's not like they're not getting good ones. They're not still getting great recruits. It's not like they can't hit the portal like anybody else. They can, and they have the money to be able to compete for anybody in the portal, no matter who it is and where they are. No, the reason that I said whenever I was talking about the Red River that Texas is ahead of Oklahoma right now is because of that. This is the year you should have beaten Texas, and you didn't do it. You didn't get it done. And I think this year was probably their worst team. It was their worst team since Sark's first year at Texas. It's probably their worst team for the next 3 or 4 years. If Sark stays and they continue on the path that they're on. So this was the year that you should have beat their ass. Doesn't mean you can't beat them later. It makes it hard. It makes it hard, right? I only got about 10 minutes left. I got a lot of stuff I got to get done today. But just kind of talking about that. Where I'm at on this game this weekend, Oklahoma can go in and win it. They're going to have to play a really good game, though. They need to put their at least B-plus game together. And I'm talking overall B-plus game. Offense is going to have to do its part. Defense is going to have to do its part. I'm not dropping the link. I said I'm out of here in 10 minutes. A lot of stuff has to come together. Can they win? Absolutely. They can win every game. Here's the thing. They can win every game that's left on the schedule. They could lose all those games too if they don't play well. If they don't play well. You got to play well. At this level of college football, you have to play well every week. Sooner Cowboys 8-4 possible, but not with Mateer playing like he did against Ole Miss. Okay, fine. Yeah, I agree with that. That's one of the things I agree with you on. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I agree with you as far as the coaching side of it's concerned. They missed a window, no doubt. But he still has done a good job of building the program itself, Duke. I think you would admit that. Whatever happens, is 7-5. I don't know that I see you go right there. 7-5 is more likely. I don't agree with that. I think it's just as likely that they win 9 games as it is that they win 7. Can't do it, man. Got shit to do, Neilio. You don't tell me what to do. Let's see. Yeah, he's good, dude. The quarterback from Muskogee, he's good. Guy could play. We were talking. You know who was on him was Trap House Boomin. Trap House Boomin was on him. He was like, "Bro, we." He was pissed off that they weren't really recruiting him at all, and neither did OSU for that matter. Wild. That dude's a baller. Maybe you go after him now in the portal. Who's to say? Who's to say? Sorry, Bishop. I gotta get a lot of stuff to do. Yes, you do, Neilio. Uh, yeah. Listen, it is what it is, and that. I think he does if he wins one more game because of the fact of this. This schedule's tough, man. This schedule's tough. But and here's the thing: the point I was trying to make in this, and I wanted to talk about the most. I don't think that this is the year that you want to fire a coach. I just don't think it is. If we're talking about the best coaches available out there, who's the best coach that you get out of the, let's say, the college ranks, just assuming that they're going to go from the college ranks, right? Which they may not. There's a scenario that could happen that you could see a wide range of dudes that you wouldn't necessarily expect for Oklahoma, right? Who's to say with kind of an NFL brain trust running the program and Jim Nagy and Randall Steven? It's not an AD hire, that I promise you. I can see them trying to go in an NFL direction. Kyle Shanahan would be great. I don't see that happening, really. He's a Texas guy. But I can see them trying to go in that direction. An up-and-comer from the NFL. It is what it is. I could also see them. I think John Summerall would be the kind of guy that I would want to go for out of college. John Summerall would be my dude, right? Will Stein, somebody like that. I don't really know where they'd head with it. In the end, I think that would you go after a guy like Lane Kiffin? Absolutely. I don't think he's going to Oklahoma. I don't think he's going to OU. I don't know that he fits at OU either. Maybe he does. I think OU'd love to have him. But this is, of course, assuming, and I don't even like doing this, to be honest with you. In the end, I don't know that he's the top guys that are there right now and available. Who are they? If we're talking, I mean, you're not going after Drink. Is it Franklin? I don't think he's a fit at Oklahoma at all, and I don't think that I would want him at Oklahoma. There's another excuse maker, right? I don't want it. I don't want him. I think he's good. I think, the people that at Oklahoma State that are like turning their nose up at the thought of James Franklin, they're fucking insane, or they're doing it to save face knowing that he would never go there. But I think, I don't know. I think he's definitely going to be somewhere, but I don't know that it would be Oklahoma. Maybe it would be. Ugh. Who else? Could you get like Brent Keys away from Georgia Tech? Yeah, maybe. But there's a lot of head coach openings right now, and so it turns into a bidding war. You don't love that part of it. You're going to end up having to really fight with a lot of money to get the guy that you think you want as a fan base anyway. But yeah, he'd be a grand slam hire for Oklahoma State. They'd be insane to. I mean, if they're stupid enough for the people that run Oklahoma State, if they were stupid enough to turn their fucking nose up at him, wow. Wow. In the end, I think that the good fit is the guy you have right now at Oklahoma, and we're a year ahead of. It's. I think that we're early. The folks that are wanting him gone, Sooner Cowboys, you're a year ahead. If he's doing this next year, then I'll understand what you guys are talking about. And it takes a lot for me to not be kind of knee jerky when it comes to this stuff too. There's some things that I don't love about Brent Venables. I love BV. I love the way he recruits. I want him to be better at certain things. I do. I think that and it's fair to say this, but I think you're a year ahead if you want him out. A year early. If in year 5, if he's still doing this, yeah, okay. If there was if you had some chances to do, and maybe if there wasn't so many big jobs that needed to be filled right now, maybe it is this year, but it's not. It's not this year. I just don't think you can. I just don't think you can. And again, I think we have to. Part of it, and this is the hard part. Part of it is we have to enjoy the process too. Watching this team grow up from what it was, because here's the deal: the bottom line is, you look at Lincoln Riley. Lincoln was never going to be in a position where one little thing turns him into a champion, a national champion. I think that you could say truthfully, Oklahoma with this defense, and the defense is going to get better. I know Sooner Cowboys are, we're losing a lot of defense. No, you're not. No, you're not. And they're adding some badasses too. Is this defense the best one that he's going to have at Oklahoma? Probably not. It is right now. Bro. Kenny Dillingham, I would absolutely take it. But the problem is that he's from Arizona State, LaToya. That's a great ass call, though. I love it. Great call. I would take. I don't know that Kenny goes anywhere though. They've made a huge investment in him. They made a big investment in him. I think it's easier for you to go make a run at the playoffs where he's at, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think she was talking about why are we not talking about him in here. He's just, there's a lot of coaches we're talking about. I think he is up on something. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at Florida. You know who else I wouldn't be surprised to see at Florida would be the Washington head coach. His name is just escaping me right now, but he's a Florida guy. D-line won't be as deep. Who's to say? You can get more dudes. There's other guys that are going to be in the portal. They'll want to play for Todd Bates. I think they better make a move to keep Marcus Strong around. Retain him. You better make a move for a guy like Nigel Smith to stay around. You better pay up. Because he's gone, if not. This is where we find out how good it is to have a guy like Jim Nagy around. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Jed Fish, yeah, Jed. That's what I was talking about. What's up, Satterfield? You caught me right at the end. Yeah, I think and Jed does a good job, man. He does a good job. They're good now. What they've got 2 losses now. They just beat up on Illinois. Nobody except for the really good teams have beaten them. Hoping Kip stays. I think he stays. Why wouldn't you? His draft grade's not going to be good enough for him to leave. not to make more money. He'll make more money staying than he will going to the league right now. I think he definitely stays. Jay, what up, dog? What are you up to, man? We just talking. We just talking. I've got a couple minutes left. Um, yeah. Look, I think that I think it would be crazy to, I think it's a little crazy to knee jerk into firing BV right now. Now, if he loses all four, I mean, do I think that they won't do it? No. I mean, if he loses all four, probably. Yeah, six wins doesn't do it. I think you win one, you're probably staying. And again, I think circumstantially, you got to be careful about firing him right now. You got to be careful about it because I mean, and especially I feel like it'd be a year premature to do it. Even I think that they're 1 year away from being right where you want them to be. And again, they still have an opportunity to get to the playoff. Now they got to play better. John Mateer's got to play better. They need to do some stuff on the offensive side. If they can grow up right now, they could still make a run this year. You get in the playoffs, nobody wants to see this Oklahoma team. I promise you that. I've been saying that all year. I'll say it now. Are they a lock for the playoff? No, of course not. The schedule's too tough down the stretch to say that they're a lock. Road-wise, you're at Neyland this weekend. You're in Alabama 2 weeks from now. That's tough. Should you win at home against Mizzou? Yes. Should you win at home against LSU? Yes. It is. It is. Best friend, Benji? Your bestie? All the underclassmen should come back, Jay says. Yeah? Hmm. Yeah, the pay raise stuff is, Benji, you know better. That's not exactly what it was. And you've watched this show enough to know that that's not exactly what it was. Don't simplify it so much. Texas butthead. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. What? No, it doesn't. Has the like button blocked? You're shitting me. How many likes I got? Scott Christopher. Mm. No, I got 31 likes, so somebody's able to like it. That's funny shit, man. If Mateer wants to come back, how would you handle that quarterback room next year? If Mateer wants to come back, Buckle's going to have him come back. How would I handle it? Has nothing to do with it. How I would handle it has nothing to do with it. I think it sucks, but I think what a lot of people have said, if Mateer's coming back, Hawkins probably ain't. I hate that. But it's been Arbuckle's room. It's been Arbuckle's room. We need one of the next two for sure, plus the last two home games. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, listen, I think you got to win out to guarantee yourself a spot. But if you get three, you could still get in there, but it's going to have to. That depends on how the rest of the SEC pans out. It is, and not only that, it's going to depend on you're going to have to be really hoping for Notre Dame to lose a game against somebody that they shouldn't lose to. You know what I mean? And they're looking a lot better. The further we get into the season, they're strengthening up. You know, their quarterback looks good. Jeremiah Love looks real fucking good. Jadarian Price looks really good, even just as a kick returner, and second option to Jeremiah Love. You need something like that to happen. You would need like BYU to get to the Big 12 championship and lose it. Or maybe win it against a really, actually, I don't know that may not be great analysis. Maybe you need BYU to run through it undefeated and get in and beat the brakes off of the number 2 team in the Big 12. So they only get one, something needs to happen to where you're not going to get 3 out of the ACC also. You got to make it, you got to hope for things that, there's a lot of things would have to happen at 9-3 is all I'm saying. A lot of things. Yep. No, you can't. Unless they're going to, but I mean, again, how I would handle the quarterback room and how Oklahoma's going to do it is 2 different things. I think that Arbuckle is okay. I don't know that I think he's great. He hadn't shown me that yet. Now, what's going on right now, the offensive sputtering is not necessarily all Ben Arbuckle. And that includes the running game. They run an RPO system. That means that the quarterback makes the decision at the line on whether or not to hand the ball off. In the fourth quarter, John Mateer chose to not hand the ball off. Big mistake. It was bad enough that he wasn't hitting open receivers. He was also not handing the ball off to X-Rob with a hot hand. This is a problem for me. Bo, this Whit Neubauer getting in as second, I think people are not realizing what that is. It's as simple as this. Hawkins has 2 games left that he can play in and still keep his red shirt. And they're definitely trying to keep his red shirt if they can, right? If Mateer were to get hurt again and a serious injury where he's not coming back in, it's going to be Michael Hawkins, without a doubt. What they're not going to do is waste a game that he could play in for Mateer's helmet coming off, and you need one play. That's Whit Neubauer's going in for that. It's so that they can preserve that red shirt, if at all possible, without playing him. Or and still be able to play him for 2 more games if you need him. They just don't want to waste the snap. It'd be a stupid reason to waste that game because you're not going to play him the rest of the way. Yeah. That's what I just said. Doesn't have anything to do, but Whit Neubauer is not the second team quarterback is what I'm getting at. That's the point. I've heard that question a bunch is why I say it. I've heard that question a bunch. And listen, I like Whit Neubauer, by the way. But yeah, Hawkins Whit is I'm going for one play and hand the ball off guy. You don't want to waste a game for Hawkins like that. Handing the ball off. You want him to play in the game. You want him to have, I think whatever happens these next 2 weeks, like I would like to see him play these next 2 weeks if Mateer's not better. I'd love to see that. Will we? Probably not. Again, I would love to see that. If he doesn't play in the next 2 games, regardless of the outcomes, expect him in the last 2. He'll have something in the last 2. He'll be playing. Whit Neubauer, Benji. You hard of hearing? Here, read it. Whit. That's it. See, that I don't know what you're talking about. If Whit comes in, there's only 2 games left, then that is writing on the wall for Hawkins. I think the writing on the wall for Michael Hawkins would be if he doesn't have if he doesn't have some kind of packages or something going on. And by the way, did anybody see the tweet that Michael put out there? Is it a foregone conclusion that he leaves? I don't know that it is. I don't know that it is because he tweeted, "Go get it done, 10. Go be great." Showing him love. Showing him love. Yeah. Yeah. It's a topic of discussion, isn't it, Satterfield? It certainly is. All right, guys. I've been going for 10 minutes over. I really do got to go. I appreciate everybody coming in. Jay, thanks for popping in and giving us your opinions on some of that stuff as well. Some of that stuff you're hearing. Okay, Chris, same with you. Appreciate all you guys coming in, man. Appreciate all you guys coming in. We'll talk some more of this at the end of the week. Hopefully everything's gonna I'm working on some stuff today to get the mobile studio ready to rock and roll, man. It's getting there. We're getting there. But I'll be definitely going to be in Tennessee this weekend for this game. I'm not missing that one. Want to check this one out for sure. Hopefully I'll have the mobile studio with me to do it as well. But we'll definitely be back on. I'll be back on tomorrow night, maybe tonight with Coach Roybal. Because we didn't do it last night. I was definitely too busy last night. And so he was kind of busy too, but it'll have to be after their practice tonight if we do it tonight. For sure, I'll be on with K. Chris and Chris Mason tomorrow. Sooner Intel coming up, maybe from the road, but I'll definitely be on with them. So we'll get together and talk more Friday morning. I'm not sure where I'll be, but expect me to be on. But all right, guys, appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure that if you haven't hit that like button, and I know it's not blocked, make sure that you do. I'm going to go out to my bookie and Fanatics. Have a good one. Hey, Jason Watkins here with Hall of Fame College Football. And if you are ready to back your favorite team, the Sooners, and fade that Texas hype train every Saturday this fall, there's only one place to do it. My bookie. Right now, you can double your first deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up at hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. That's hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. Yep, 100% deposit bonus, and it takes less than 5 minutes to get started. Whether you're betting college football, rolling the dice in the online casino, or dropping a 10-leg parlay on SEC Chaos, MyBookie has everything you need. Bet anytime, anywhere, on the go, at the tailgate, or yelling at the refs from your couch. Just don't talk trash. Put your money where your mouth is. Hit that link, hofmedia.us/mybookie1000, and get your deposit bonus today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and Hall of Fame College Football. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, bleeding crimson and cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too, all shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page.